Let's talk to the man who had a massive win on Saturday, one of 6 Canadian fighters who won on Saturday. His win, honestly, might have been the most impressive of the bunch. Just 64 seconds it took him to defeat Aoriqileng via TKO. He is the one and only Aiemann Zahabi, my doppelganger. Is he there? There he is. Aiemann, my man. How are you? I have to thank you.
Helwani boxing.
Helwani, look at that Helwani boxing. I mean, it was vibing out there. Just a 1-2, a quick 1-2, Aiemann. That's all it takes. People don't recognize this shit. They don't recognize. I'm sorry for being late. We went a little long there with Izzy, so I hope you understand. But I have to thank you, Aiemann. I have to thank you because every time you fight and win, I mean, the engagement on my Twitter, it just blows up. It's just like 1,000 tweets. I don't even have to watch it. I just have to sit back and wait for the tweets to come in. And everyone's like, congrats, 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 congrats. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you for that. Thank you for the street cred.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate you reposting some videos about my fights and things like that. It really helps me out as well on my Instagram and my Twitter. Thank you.
Of course. Congratulations. Best performance, best night, best win of your career so far?
You know, the best night of my career, 100%. But, you know, personally, coming after 2 losses, it's going to be hard to top. You know, like that Draco fight, just because I had to overcome myself, you know, the emotions, everyone betting against me, everyone in the media picking against me except for one guy, you know. And then, like, this fight was great because I feel like now I've earned my place in the UFC. I'm a UFC vet. I just had my 6th fight in the UFC. It was Canadian soil. I had a huge knockout. It just, like, reintroduced me to the world. You know,
what is the difference between this guy and the guy on the 2-fight losing streak? You're like a completely different guy. Like the confidence is different. The fight, obviously, the results are different. But can you even pinpoint what's the difference?
Well, definitely. When I got to the UFC, I was 6-0, and I hadn't lost a full contact fight in like I don't know 10 years or something. And then when I was fighting Ramos, I became too arrogant. You know, Ramos, I kind of lost my confidence, and then I overcorrected by being too passive. And then, you know what? I built my confidence back, and now I'm just as confident as when I fought Ramos, but without the arrogance. Like, I just chopped off the arrogance, you know? So when I fought against Draco against Ricky, and GSP was there, he told me just be myself. I realized that I don't have to try too hard. I don't have to try. Like, you know, I just have to be myself. I can win. I just have to believe in me. Don't try to do anything more than that, you know? So, and I really feel like I've honed myself to my center. And now I feel like I can take on most guys, anybody.
You say you chopped off the arrogance. Did you chop it off, or did someone chop it off for you first? Like, were you?
Oh, Ramos really helped with that.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, that helped real nice. You know, but I just after round 2, going into the 3rd, I felt like there's nothing he could do to hurt me. I didn't feel like he hit hard enough to hurt me, and I didn't feel like he could take me down unless I made a mistake. You know, and I just became too cocky, and I just went too hard for the finish. And then I learned a very valuable lesson.
Yes. And so what
do not throw caution to the wind.
That's right. You got to be measured. But I was wondering, like, maybe if it was your brother, if it was if it was someone who was like, yo, man, you need to get back to who you are. Like, to have a guy like GSP say, just be yourself. Is he saying that because he feels like you're not being like yourself? Is he saying, like, you know what I mean? Because as you can attest, when you're winning, when you're on top of the world, you think you're untouchable, right? And so how do you get out of that? How do you bring yourself back to that center that you're talking about?
Well, you know, I'm my worst critic for sure. Firas, a heavy critic of mine as well.
Yeah.
He really lets me know what he's thinking.
Okay.
You know?
That's good.
So, yeah, of course. You know, there's a lot of back and forth. Even like now, like I just won this fight. You know, like you said, it lasted 64 seconds. Right away, we're backstage after I do, like, you know, obviously right away they rush me. I do some like little interviews and I do a little bit of whatever. But as soon as that's done, we pull out the fight. What went wrong? Like, what did I do with my footwork? Why didn't I check? Why did I only check 1 out of 4 kicks? You know, like what happened? And we're reviewing it right away. Like, there is no perfect performance. You know, there's nothing perfect. And I just, like my brother and I, we like to keep it honest, and we always try to reflect as soon as possible because it's fresh in your mind. And we just really gotta, you know, dot our I's and cross our T's type thing.
He found things to critique you on in 64 seconds? For real?
I got hit, bro. I critique myself, man. Listen, there's so much
come on.
good things in there, some bad things in there. You know, I mean, it is what it is. That's the truth, man. No one's perfect. And that's, you know, no more arrogance, man.
Yeah,
no more arrogance.
Okay, that's
it's
fair.
out the window, man.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Out the window. But I'm feeling really high right now. Like, I'm still on the high from Saturday night. Incredible. You know, for me, growing up watching GSP, obviously I know GSP since I'm 16 years old, and the fans in Canada, they always gave him the ole ole. So man, it was a dream come true. I started it, but they finished it for me.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible feeling. Honestly, for me, that was like the top memory of my life right now.
Wow. So I was just about to ask you that because you have fought once in Canada before as far as UFC career is concerned, right? Twice. Was Halifax? Oh, Halifax and Saskatchewan. No, Halifax and Ottawa.
Won and
yeah.
Ottawa, I lost the decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And that feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah.
Like everything is different now. Right. Everything is different with your career, but also like the sport coming back for the first time in 4 years and all that stuff. To be back and to be treated as like one of the stars on the show and to get that kind of love as someone who you were there for the whole rise of the early days of Canadian MMA led by GSP and all those guys. It has to be somewhat kind of surreal for you, right? That now like you're not training partner, you're not along for the ride. You're the guy in the middle. You're the star right here.
I'm the guy in the middle, man. It's my time, and I'm so happy that the 5 other Canadians on the card won as well. I got to meet them all, got to hang out with them. Some of them I've met before. Some of them I hadn't met before. So it was really interesting to interact with them also after we won. And I saw them in the lobby at the hotel. We're all taking pictures with the fans. Really, honestly, the Canadian fans are fantastic. They treated us so well. They're so happy to see us. We took some group pictures too with the other winners. And, it's a surreal moment. And I'm just happy to be now more accepted by the Canadian fan base. That's my dream. Like, I want to represent Canada on the world stage, born in Montreal. So I really want to represent.
Could we have a scene like that in Montreal right now? What do you think?
I would love it, man. I don't know if it's in the cards for UFC. I don't know what the relationship is with the Montreal Commission, Quebec Commission in general, or whatever. Like, listen, in Quebec, they banned jiu-jitsu, I don't know how many, 5 years, 6 years. I don't even know how long it was. They just started bringing it back this year. So we'll see. I would love it. I would love it if they came here. If not, I think Toronto would be huge. Toronto's massive. Yeah. Montreal would be great. Charles Jourdain is from Montreal, too.
Right.
I met him as well. I saw him at the show. Actually, when I was taking my last sip of water before going in the cage, I caught him. He was in the front row. I gave him a little, one of these. I'm going to go in there. We're going to do it. I saw him at the weigh-ins. He came and wished me luck. So, I'm just happy to be part of the Canadian team. And like, we're really all connecting. There's no bad blood between anyone, across Canada. We're all looking out for each other on the world stage.
I love that. I love to hear that, especially because as you know, I don't have to tell you, like there was a feeling maybe a couple of years ago that Canadian MMA was like down here, right? There was a point where it was like super obviously led by GSP and Rory McDonald. Your brother is a big part of that. What do you think about the state of Canadian MMA now after a night like we saw on Saturday? And not to mention the likes of Olivier Aubin-Mercier doing big things for PFL, Arjun Bullers, the heavyweight champion in one championship. Like there's a lot of Canadians, not just in the UFC. What is your take on the current state of Canadian MMA?
Well, to be honest, like, Quebec at one point banned MMA. There were no professional, no local events. They only let UFC in. And then they banned jiu-jitsu. And then they tried to ban karate. And I know before, for a while, Ontario had a commissioner that didn't love putting on MMA events. So it was very hard for guys in Ontario to put on MMA shows. So it kind of dwindled the reason to go into the sport. We used to have a lot of people in the amateurs climbing up all over Canada. And I feel like the more they discourage people to compete professionally or in jiu-jitsu and in different martial arts, the more they destroyed the sport here. So I think it's really great that UFC came. We put 6 Canadians on the card, and the 6 Canadians won. And then now hopefully people get another boost of confidence. You know what? We should go into MMA. There is a career that can be made, in jiu-jitsu, in MMA, in kickboxing, in Muay Thai. Like, we should get more people involved in fighting sports. It's great. It's beautiful.
I was wondering if there was a period where there weren't a lot of Canadian shows, like regional shows. Remember there was the days of like Maximum Fighting Championship and Score Fighting Series and TKO. Yeah. We need those shows, right?
We need those shows in Ontario, in Quebec, in Western Canada. Actually BFL is doing well. Like in Vancouver, there are some. In Ontario now there's Unified. I think there's also BC. But there was. I'm just saying there were years where they gapped us out.
Yes.
Where Score was gone. All these amazing shows in Ontario and in Quebec were gone. And so it dwindled the future. Like the amateurs that wanted to come up, they probably just walked away. Listen, like me, I know personally some friends of mine, some teammates of mine, they reached the age of 27 and they haven't had the opportunity to fight professional yet or very much in Canada. And no one's willing to fly them out because they only have a few fights. And by 27, their friends graduated college, university. They've got their careers going. They're making money. They're starting families. And this guy's making a couple grand a fight, can barely fight once every 2 years. it's discouraging. That's why people walk away, right? So
Right.
I really hope now that this gives people some momentum, and the commissioners really embrace giving people an opportunity to put on shows.
By the way, GSP still at the gym?
So I just saw him today. I was at the gym to
Come
go
on.
see everybody for congratulations.
He's
and
at the
everything.
gym working out?
Of course, he trains every day. He trains at TriStar all the time,
This
man. He
guy's
trains with us.
crazy.
And I was trying to get him to corner me again because he was going to be in town. But man, the timing just never works. He's always promoting something, charity. He's got all kinds of things going on. But when he called me after the fight, I told him, listen, you're my good luck charm now. Twice you're in the city, twice I win big. I'm like, that's it. You have to be in my corner for the next one. Like for the next one, there's no booking something.
Yes.
Okay? We're just doing it. And I saw it, like when I told him today face to face, he's like, okay. He's like, let me know when the next date is. He's like, we'll try to make it work. Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you, man. So he's on board. He was on board the last two. He's on board for the next one.
But by the way,
he's a busy guy.
Maybe this is the best way to do it. He is in town, but he doesn't corner you. It's working out this way. Why do we need to go another
Not
step?
so far.
Yes.
But listen, Firas doesn't like superstition, so we can't. Don't bring up superstition.
Sorry. Why? What's wrong with super? I'm very superstitious, by the way. Maybe we're not cut from the same cloth. Why? What's wrong with superstition? He thinks it's weak?
He thinks it's weak. Yeah, he thinks it's like a mental weakness. Like, oh, you need this? No, you need yourself. You gotta be, So it's interesting, but he's great for the mental game for us too, of course. So
how hard is he on you compared to the other guys in the gym?
I'll tell you, like when I used to go to, I remember like when I used to go to jiu-jitsu tournaments or wrestling tournaments, right? And Firas used to compete too at the time in amateur jiu-jitsu and wrestling, right? And I used to see everybody older than me put headphones on when they're warming up or getting ready, like to get in the zone type thing. So on my first tournament, I didn't bring any because I didn't know what you're supposed to do. It was my first tournament. I was just super young. I was like 16 or 15. I didn't even know how old I was. And so the next tournament we would go to, I brought like a little headset and like my music. And I was like, okay. So I put it on. Firas walks up to me, pulls off my headset. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm going to get into, like people listen to music. They get like, they focus. He's like, they're listening to music to escape the fear and the anxiety. He's like, you don't listen to music. You do like me and you face what's going to happen. You rehearse in your mind and you get ready and you absorb that fear. You absorb those nerves and you learn to deal with those butterflies. Wow. So even till now, like now when we're going to the UFC, there's no music, man. Like I have to do it in here, man.
Do you think he's harder on you than he is the other fighters at the gym?
I think he's hard on everybody, but because we're so close, he can get a little extra. Get a little extra. You know how they say like sometimes you're harder on your family, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just so close. There's no disbanding us, right? So I really get the real little toughness out of Firas. That little extra toughness.
What about like when you guys are hanging out? Like if you're at a family dinner or a family function, are you talking about MMA? Or are you able to separate
we
it?
talk a lot about we philosophize about all kinds of things. A lot of it is mental. A lot of it is about life. We talk a lot about our kids too, right? Because we all want to raise our kids the best. So we're always like coming up with ideas. Oh yeah, what happened with so and so, and how can we do it, and different things like that. But a lot of fighting too. Like the holidays at my house, it's me, Ahmed, and Firas, and we're talking about jiu-jitsu situations, wrestling situations. Okay, how can we better this? Oh, did you see that fight? Did you see that solution that guy came up with? Maybe we can add it to our game. So much MMA. Like in my mom's living room, like Christmas week. Like we're Muslim, right? We don't do Christmas, but we get together because everyone's off.
Right.
We're grappling in the living room. We're grappling in the kitchen. We're going over technique. When we go on family vacations, like when we went to chalet, we go all the families, like all the brothers and their kids and whatever. We all train. The wives have to train. I train. My brothers train. The kids are training. We're all doing jiu-jitsu. We're all doing fitness and conditioning. Like it doesn't end, man.
Damn. So how many Zahabi boys are there?
So there are 4 boys, 4 girls in terms of like nieces and nephews. We're even.
Wait. So as far as your siblings, how many are there in your immediate family?
Me and my brothers were 4 brothers.
4 brothers. So what do the other 2 do?
So Ahmed is a black belt in BJJ. He owns a school, TriStar Burlington, Ontario. He's also a PhD in microbiology.
Sheesh.
And he's got an MBA in business. He's like the most educated. Okay? He's the brains. He's the leader. He's the firstborn.
Okay.
He's a real pioneer. Born in Lebanon, actually. He's the only one born there.
Salam alaikum. Wa alaikum salam.
Brother. And then there's my brother Tariq. He graduated from a school. It's called Herzing, and he got like a computer degree. He did that for a while. Then he went into different careers. Now he drives for the handicap, like adaptive transport.
Okay.
And then Firas obviously owns the gym, world famous coach of St-Pierre. And then there's me. I'm a UFC fighter.
Yes, of course. I've heard of you. I was
Yeah.
just wondering if the others ever thought about becoming pro fighters.
No, like they were training since they were young. Actually, they started training in karate from like a very young age, which I didn't go through. I went into training mostly at in high school. They did karate and Muay Thai. They trained with my coach, Master Peter, who unfortunately passed away recently. They were training with him in 1989. I was born in 87, man.
Damn.
Which is incredible, you know. So Master Peter was in our lives forever. Before I was born, he was in my family's life. So that's pretty incredible. So they can all fight. They can all fight for sure. They can all fight.
And what's
But
this, sorry, what's the story with Danny Rubenstein? They were talking about it on the broadcast. You needed the great Danny Rubenstein, the great manager.
well, yeah. Because you know, I was with first. Obviously, I got to the UFC without any management. I got in there with just me and Firas. Then I managed myself a little bit, and then we hired a management team, which were great, you know. But I think they ended up stopping the working in MMA. So then I had no management, and we left amicably. Obviously, of course, they're great guys, amazing people. And then I did the fight with Ricky Tercios without any management. And then Frost was like, you know, he's like, I would like to string a few fights together. I was like, yeah, of course, me too, man. I want to string some fights together. So, you know, so we're just looking for management. We're really, really looking for someone who could maybe help us, you know, fight, you know, more than once a year.
Yeah.
And, you know, Frost goes to UFCs all the time and stuff. And he met Danny and they got along really well. And Frost was like, what do you think about Danny? I said, okay, cool. So we set up an interview, like not an interview, sorry. We set up like a phone call and we spoke and we talked and I liked him. And then we ended up signing with Danny.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. We just did our first one with Danny, this fight here with Aoriqileng. And so far, so good, yeah.
And so obviously you're healthy, I would imagine, unless you injured your hand. Yeah.
Great. You know, I didn't feel the kicks much in the fight, but after, like, once you cool down,
Yeah.
you start to feel low kicks. But other than that, thank God I didn't get punched in the face at all, which is great.
Yes.
You know, look at me. Fantastic. We look amazing.
We look fantastic. By the way,
more like you now.
I know. I want to get a picture right here. Guys, stay right here in case people say that we're never in the same room. Here we are in the same room. It might be AI, so you never know. It could just be me talking to myself here. But I wanted to ask you. So because of that, can you return? You know, September. What is your plan, or what is your hope?
My hope is for the fall would be perfect, man. Because I got like just like July is a crazy month for me. It's my wife and my two daughters. They'll have the same birthday, July 7th.
Oh my gosh! By the way, my birthday's July 8th. We have another thing in common.
No way.
Yes.
That's crazy. My mom's is July 7th. So
oh my!
6, 7, 8. We're busy. Listen, you gotta invite me to your birthday party. What's happening?
Yeah. I'm not a big birthday guy, but you know, cancers. We're all kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that big birthday bash to do, and then after that, I'm free, man. So you know, it'd be great. It'd be great to like take a couple of months to get ready. You know, just to prepare for the next guy, whoever it's gonna be. Set up a good game plan, and then get ready for the fight. So I think, you know, September and on would be perfect.
Do you have a preference as to who might be next?
Actually, Frost told me that's my job right now. Is I have to do my homework and see who's not booked. But because they're booking fights all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't look past. I didn't want to look past Aoriqileng. Right. He's like once I book the fight, I have to zone in. So like I do watch UFCs, like even though I have fight camp.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm not paying attention as hard as when I don't have fight camp to remember who beat who and how and every single thing that happened in the fights. But like now my homework is to catch up on what's happened and who's already booked. So like obviously I don't want to send Sean Shelby a name that's already booked. You know, I look like an idiot.
And by the way,
so I gotta.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. So I gotta figure out who's available, what makes sense, whatever.
Did Drake send you a message? Is he going to send you the Rolex?
Listen, I didn't get the $50,000 bonus, which you know,
which is messed up. It's fucked up. You didn't get it.
Listen, you don't know. There's no guarantee in life. Okay, there's no guarantee in life, and that's okay. But Drake's gonna come through from you. Am I right?
I would.
Listen, we gotta see Drake. Yeah. We gotta. But one of my clients for a long time, I've been training him since I'm 18 years old, is his head of security.
Oh God.
Listen, Eddie. Send him a message, man. Send him the video. We gotta get this. You know, a couple of Canadian boys. I came from the bottom just like him. Me and my brothers came up with nothing, man. My immigrant parents came to Montreal with nothing. You know, actually, my father was telling me a funny story about when he first came to Lebanon. Obviously, they had no money, and he was working at this garage, like at a gas station garage. He was a mechanic from Lebanon, right? So he was working on cars. So he applied for a job here, and when he finally saved his first $100, he bought a car. The car had a hole where the pedals are. You know, like under the pedals, there was no metal there. So he had to take a plywood and drill it in. There was no heating in the car, and he was lucky that like on the weekends, his boss would lend him one of the courtesy cars, so he could take my family around, you know, like on the weekend, do things and whatever, blah blah blah. But during the week, man, my dad was driving a car with no heating in it, no floors in it. It was a real nightmare.
Fuck.
So like, you know, came from nothing. You know, now I'm on a 3-fight win streak. I'm about to make a huge name for myself. I'd love if a fellow Canadian showed me some love.
Yes, and by the way, I am showing you some love.
Yeah, you, of course.
Oh, okay, I thought you were
you're
referencing me, the fellow Canadian
No,
showing
Drake,
you love. I
Drake.
know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's the other guy I get. I
Yeah.
get Aiemann Zahabi and I get Drake as far as doppelgangers. We all kind of look
Listen.
alike.
Has Drake done your show?
No.
'Cause people always tell me I look like Drake.
Yeah, me too. It's weird. It's a bit of a sore subject. I'm trying. I'm trying to get the man. I would
The
love
other day,
to.
Arnie posted a photo with me, and somebody said, "Oh, it looks like you're with Drake." You see that? I'm telling you, we have a trifecta here.
I know. The three of us. We have to go for some shawarma and some hummus, you know?
Yeah, you got his number. FaceTime him right now. Let's
No,
get
I
him
would
on.
love to. Are you kidding me? I would freaking love that. It will happen. I feel like it will happen for you before it happens for me because you're on a roll. I'm very happy for you, my friend. The energy, the excitement, the happiness is just like radiating off of you right now. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
So
I love it, man.
So head over to the Orange Julep tonight. Get a little orange julep for me. And I toast you, my friend. Enjoy it. Enjoy the victory. And I look forward to the next one.
Thank you for having me on. Guys, if you ever want to learn from us, you can go on jujiclub.com to learn from Firas' instructionals.
Love it. Check that out. Thank you, Aiemann. All the best to you. There he is, Aiemann Zahabi. They say we look alike. Not a bad guy to be compared to, if you ask me.